Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to walk you through this Lifesaver Candy tutorial. It's a beginner level tutorial, but it has a lot of advanced tips, mainly for how you can copy paste, reuse parts of the geometry. It's really simple, but it can help you a lot with any product design. So let's get started. I have already loaded the tutorials on the second tab here, so I just click start and we start with a 3D sketch. Now what we do first is we select the primitive, which is a rectangle in this case, and now we're going to set the plane. So we're going to choose the back plane we want to draw on the side, and now we're going to set the precision that we're going to use the grid vertices. So I want to also snap the grid vertices. And now I can position my plane using my right mouse key to rotate, and we start by snapping to one grid vertex and the next grid vertex. So this doesn't need any measurements because we know the exact size. But now for the other side, we're going to type in an exact value and then finalize it by clicking here. So we have this not snapped to anything, just enter the value. Now we're going to enter an ellipse, change the primitive that we use, and we're going to snap here. And the reason we can snap here is this is the center of this edge. SelfCAD allows you to snap to any center, including the center of the entire drawing, which is red dot in this case. So here we snap to this center point and this center point, and now we're going to enter a value of 45 and finalize it. And then we enter the drawing. So we're done with the drawing for now. So what we've done over here is we use two primitives, a rectangle and an ellipse, and they both intersect each other, but we want to have just the outside, kind of like the silhouette, and remove the entire inside. So instead of manually clipping that out, you can do that, click on face mode, edge mode, start removing. But we're going to use a geometry clean tool, which is to remove inner edges. I don't know if you watched my last tutorial, we have used a similar technique where we had a lot of outside, we created a pattern, we had a lot of outside pieces, where we use to remove loose edges. In this case, we want to remove the inner edges, not loose edges. So once we finalize, and we got this is the entire thing. Okay, so now we're going to revolve, and we're going to get the basic shape. We're just going to set the smoothness to 32, so it's relatively smooth, and finalize. And we have the basic shape done, so we're just going to give it a color. And color here is use this color. Okay, and now we turn on the edge mode. You can see how nicely this was done, the faces, really nice with the revolve tool. And we're going to position it on the center. Okay, so now what we're going to do here is, this is where it starts the copy paste kind of, we're going to reuse parts of geometry. So we're going to activate edge mode and go to advanced settings to activate loop selection, and we're going to click over here, an edge here and an edge here. So normally loop selection selects an entire loop, but we call this range selection. You can also, when you want to select entire loop, you click on one edge and then the neighboring edge, so it selects entire loop. But if you want to select a range, you click on the first one and then on the last one it selects the range. And now what we're going to do here is we're going to copy this. So we simply copy this. Instead of drawing something new, we just reuse parts from the geometry and copy it. So we make a new profile. You see SelfCAD names it profile. You can rename it, but by default, if it was created through as a profile, it names it as a profile, and I believe this is the second profile, so it names it too. And now what we're going to do here is we're going to deactivate the selection, and we are going to deselect this and select this mesh over here, again selecting the same mesh we had before, and again activate selection, loop selection, the same idea, and we're going to select now another part of it, so another range. So we're selecting this bottom range, and we'll make a copy again. Now you may wonder why we did it in two separate pieces. The reason is because we want this to be two separate profiles. Otherwise you would have needed to select here, face mode maybe, and select this section, and then go to split and split them off. But you know, it's easier this way to just make them as two separate profiles. Okay, so now these are going to be used as guides that we're going to use with the next tool. And the next tool is going to be the text generator. So we're going to text generator can simply create a text. By default it creates it, it's hidden here on the mesh, but it creates like in the center of the scene, and you can go and change the positions and rotation. But we want to activate now follow path. Instead of manually providing anything, we're just going to tell it to follow a path, and this will allow us also to rotate around something. So once we have the follow path, it tells me to select the path that I want it to follow. In this case I'm going to select here at this path, and the text over here starts writing. So I need to type in the text. What it tells me, it's case sensitive, it tells me to type in life, and it tells me to change the text. And you see now this is not good, it's reversed, so we need to go to the option over here to reverse. So it gives me the option to reverse, so we say it comes to life, basically. That's basically what it is. So we finalize this, And now what we're going to do is we're going to go again to the generator because we're going to make it as a second object. And now what we're going to do is basically repeat the same flow, and we're going to highlight the edge. Now we want to select this profile that we created, and now we're going to type in savers and also change the text. And now there's no flipping, I guess. Yeah, no reversing, so it's done. So we are done with this. Now we're turning on the edge mode, and now what we're going to do here is we're going to select this profile and go to polygon mode. So here we're going to start again. The problem here is that we want to solve this. We want to make this rounded. So this is positioned over here. It sticks into the object, but we want the text to be rounded. So how are we going to do it? We're going to use Stitch and Scoop to cut out a piece, but instead of drawing something else and making a new revolve and something else, I've seen some people do it like that, we're just going to use copy paste approach. So we're going to select polygon and go again to the polygon mode. Now we want to select this polygon, but this polygon, if you see, this entire thing is one polygon, the next is a polygon. We want to select the entire section over here. So for that, we're going to increase the tolerance to 2. So in this case, once we increase the tolerance, it kind of tells me like what is considered a polygon. In this case, if we click on it here, you can see I guess yeah, I need to select a little bit more here. Okay, so this is a little bit difficult because you need to know where the designer clicked. So I'm just going to marquee select. But in general, the idea here is that the tolerance should, depending where you click actually, which was rotated, we need to select the entire thing. So that's basically it. I think a tolerance of 3 would have saved some time, and I had to click a few times. But basically what the tolerance is doing, it says like a polygon is supposed to be flat, and this says, okay, ignore some noise, some curvature. And over here we have like almost a 90-degree angle, so we increase the tolerance to something that says anything that is not so big, and all other sides are kind of harder, bigger angles, so we can just make a little bigger tolerance and allow to select the entire thing at once. But nonetheless, this is what needs to be done over here. Select the top, and then we copy this. We simply copy this. Now as we copy this, this is just a surface at this point, so we need to add thickness to it. So we're going to extrude. We can use add thickness or extrude. In this case, the designer is using extrusion, and we add a level of 10, and not individual. Individual will kind of extrude everything individually, and we want it to be combined, and we finalize it. So now as you can see, the entire text is hidden. So we uncheck this profile, and we need to move it up a little bit to give some space where the text is going to be done over here. So we're going to move it up. You see this is 40 now, so we're going to move it to 43. That means that the text height would be over here, a distance of 3, so the height would be 3, but it will be curved because we use this rounded piece to cut it out. Okay, so now what we're going to do here is we're going to select the text as well. So we have 2 sets of text because we drew them separately as 2 separate profiles, and we're going to use Stitch and Scoop to cut this out. And now what we do over here is we remove this this section, and automatically, so we have basically 3 pieces over here, top piece and these 2 pieces, so it will remove this and automatically combine the other, and it will basically give me this text over here nicely positioned rounded. If it's hard to see, so we activate solid mode so you can see what's done. Now here's the interesting thing, that SelfCAD copies, Stitch and Scoop copies the colors. So it copied this color, and this is blue, still a different color. So this is often used if you go to material selection. So for example, if this would have been combined and this is a different color, you can easily pick them by activating material selection and pick them. But now they are a separate object, so we're just going to color them differently and give it this color. And now we want to add the same thing to the bottom as well. So for that, we're just going to copy, and we're going to rotate it by 180 degree around the z-axis. And the reason we know z-axis, if you look over here, you see the z sticking here, and this is basically what we need to do to rotate it. But now it's on top here, so we're going to go to the move, and we're going to move it to 0 position. Now if you move it to 0 position, it's the bottom over here, but we need it to stick out. And we cannot make it stick out more because SelfCAD pushes up everything that is below the grid. So you cannot go in SelfCAD below 0 to make sure everything stays in the scene nicely. So what we're going to do rather is select the other piece, this section, and we're going to move this up by, also need to select this one, I guess, and we're going to move this up by 3. So we allow it to stick out by 3, the height of the text the same as on the top. And we finalize it. So now all that's left is to combine this, and for that we're going to click Control+U Union, or you can use it from the tools over there, and that's basically done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to isolate to hide away the others, and that's basically it. So we have the lifesaver over here, and you can see it over here, the other side, it's nicely combined. So the reason I said with copy paste kind of approach, because what we have done over here is we have actually saved a lot of time of copying these profiles instead of drawing it. We copied these top faces instead of creating new faces and so on, so saved some time. But overall the tutorial is mostly drawing, stitch and scoop, and revolve, and yeah, these tools are really quite often used for product design, other stuff. So I hope you learned something new, and please let me know in the comments if you want me to show anything else. And look how nicely this text surrounded. So okay, have a great day, bye.